Hey there, everyone. My name is Moki Shutter from the Guys Who Play Games, and we're kind of back with some more Halo 2. Not quite, because obviously this isn't MCC. This is, you might have heard of this if you've, because when was this? Like, there was like a point where a lot of people were talking about Project Cartographer here. I don't remember when that was though, but yeah. So Project Cartographer is basically just oops, I just skipped something, but whatever. I'm like mashing the A button for some reason. I think you can just where can I see this? Is it I guess I could just sign out. I think there's a way you can see it, but whatever. This is Project Cartographer. This is basically just Halo 2 Vista, but like custom setup to work on newer operating systems. And it comes with like a bunch of really good things. Like it's just very well crafted. It has like auto updates, which I actually could have showed off because it happened earlier. But yeah, it's really cool. It's like this is like basically if you don't have MCC, this is the best way to play Halo 2. Uh, and I mean, technically, I could argue that the best way to play Halo 2 is the original Xbox version, but like I've mentioned many times, good fucking luck with that. You basically need an original Xbox for that, because even on 360, emulating on Halo 2 on 360 has a bunch of problems where like you'll get weird screen burning, which you'll see people talk about a lot. Like on my scare video, that my Halo 2 footage, even though I barely even played, has burn. Like it's like some weird backwards compatibility bug. And there's also even just like small things are broken, like the space doesn't muffle everything. But regardless, if you want to play Halo 2, this is a very good option. Frick, it's giving me flashbacks to setting up. I had Halo 2 Vista, but I had an XP operating system for actually quite a long time. I only actually went from XP to Windows 10 here, like 3 years ago? 3 or 4 years ago? Like, pretty recently. If you think about the fact that, XP is how many bloody years old, but getting Vista to work on XP was it wasn't a nightmare, but it was definitely like a huge pain. You had to do a bunch of weird shit to get it to work, but you could get it going. But thankfully, Cartographer basically is just better Vista. There's like no reason not to just play this over Vista, because it has all the same things. It has it has the same file browser, but it has like a bunch of other cool shit. Like, where is it? Right here. So you have these like your new settings. Like you can change your field of view, all this other stuff. You can remove the HUD if you want. You have different weapon offsets. You can set it per weapon, which is actually like pretty nice. You have all this other stuff. You can up the quality. Set up your inputs. The input's a big deal because Vista actually doesn't have proper controller binding. You just have the same Xbox options, which isn't terrible, but like if you want to set it up like the newer games where you have B button does certain things, and I have right bumper set up for certain things and whatnot, then you pretty much need this, because otherwise it's like the same four things. And then it actually has Discord rich present enabled, which is kind of cool. I can also disable other things. Where is... Oh, right. Here, I'll do this quickly. We're not going to play campaign mode. I'm going to do multiplayer, but I can show this off quickly. This is a cool little extra feature that they have here. So let's just mash through this. Is my controller dead? No, it's just sometimes my controller is weird. Oh, right, yeah. My controller is weird with menus, because the binding isn't perfect, but I can do start and select to kind of get through it. So I think it's home? Yeah. So if you are playing campaign or you're hosting a multiplayer, then you can actually set up stuff like this. You can... Here's a that's actually a big one. You can't delay. You can turn that off. Although I imagine a lot of people probably keep it on just because it's funny. There's auto like anti-cheat. Here's a big thing too: is you can just set up all the skulls like this. This is awesome because you know, vanilla Halo 2 doesn't have this. So if you want, you know, the OG Grunt birthday party. In fact, since we're here, like, why the hell not? Let me just quickly show this off because OG Halo 2 Grunt birthday party is like really cool. And that was like one of my absolute biggest disappointments. Like, it's such a funny thing to say, but it really is true that it's like, I don't know why MCC decided to just change this for the worse in just every way. Like, now you just get the stupid, like, yay sound effect from Halo 3 onward. And you don't even see the confetti if you're playing in Classic. So it's like, why do they... Like, it's so weird to me. Why not split it off into two skulls? Because the original game just calls it Birthday Party. So it could have been just like, I don't know. Like, I don't understand why they changed that. Boom! Yeah, plasma grenade explosions. I love that. And it affects everything, not just grunts, which is a big thing. Like, look how awesome that is. I just don't understand why that got changed. But regardless, that's not what we're here for. We're going to play some multiplayer. Why the hell not? You know what I mean? I did a whole campaign playthrough on Legendary. Now we're going to do some multiplayer, because why not? Let's see what's up. There's actually a fair bit of lobbies, although most of them are actually just empty, because it's mostly just like whatchamacallit. I can't think of the word for some reason right now. It's just a bunch of like hosted lobbies, basically. Dedicated servers, I guess, is what you could call it. That's probably the right word. There's also like here. In fact, let me see. My ping's pretty good. Well, it's all right. My internet kind of sucks. I've probably mentioned this before. But let's play this. I think it's like Griffball or something. It's just like swords and Griffball. Yeah, look at this. Oh my god, yeah. This isn't anything special, because, like... Ooh, yeah, cool. I'm okay at Halo 2 multiplayer. Halo 2 multiplayer is actually probably one of my weaker... weaker things, you know, as shown by the fact that I've died, like, how many fucking times. Ooh, I actually got a kill, imagine. Damn it! Take that. A lot of these lobbies actually have this funny thing where, because it's instant respawn and you just always drop a sword and shotgun, you end up with this thing where, like, look at, like, it's like the map is overloaded, so a lot of the particles don't show up. Anyways, I'm not really interested in this. Although I do always appreciate this, that Halo 2 has a handicap system for this multiplayer, which a lot of people probably don't even remember, because Halo 2 is the only time that's ever happened. Halo 2 Vanilla, MCC doesn't even have that handicap system, where the handicap just reduces, like, permanently reduces a certain amount of your shields. I think it's like 25, 50, 75, something like that. It's like minor, moderate, and severe. And yeah, MCC doesn't have that. Only Classic Halo 2 and I think Vista does it too, yeah, because it's the same menu. But MCC, like, because MCC just has a uniform menu for all the games, there is no handicap system in that game, which, like, it's not, like, a huge thing. I doubt very many people have ever used it seriously, but it's, like, that is a noticeable thing, you know what I mean? Maybe playing at 1 o'clock in the morning on a Thursday night probably doesn't have a lot of people playing. That's fine. I didn't really feel like playing too much anyways. I was just going to play a couple games. I just kind of wanted to be like, hey, check out this thing. Because a lot of these servers, you know, at these extreme hours are just going to be stuff like this, where it's just going to be just kind of like a pretty standard... It's like, this is just regular Halo 2 at this point. Like, I could just match make this on MCC. And I suck at Halo 2. Seriously. So... Oh, fuck! That was a grenade. I could hear it hissing. I didn't look. And it doesn't help that Halo 2 like really doesn't like it when your internet isn't great, which is kind of just like a thing. Ow. Hell yeah. Jeez. Have I killed anyone who's actually shot at me? Ugh. Who dat? Oh shit, a Needler kill? You know, the Needler is such a tragic weapon, I feel like. Aw, fuck. Yeah, see, I can't win anyone who actually shoots me back. Needler is such a tragic weapon, because it's like, there's so many games where Needler could be cool, and it's just like, it's always like, it's either, like the Halo 1 Needler is probably the best Needler in the series, but it sucks in multiplayer. And when I say it's the best Needler, I mean because it's like, just like, it personifies what the Needler should be. Oops. Nice grenade toss into the void. Like, the Halo 1 Needler feels like it does everything that I want the Needler to do. Like, you hit the Needlers, you hit the needles into the, dude, and there's like a second before it actually blows up and kills them. Damn, that guy's good. But, like, it does exactly what I want the Needler to do. It's just that in multiplayer, it's terrible, because the tracking, just, you can strafe it. And when I say strafe it, I mean if you hold a direction, you just win. The Needler won't ever hit you. Which is kind of ridiculous if you think about it. Hey, I actually got a kill. And he shot first, imagine. Nice. Well, I didn't get that kill. I just kind of softened him up. And then, like the Halo 2 Needler is like so polarizing because it's basically just, if you don't dual wield it, it's even worse than Halo 1. Like, the Needler is probably the weapon that's most affected by how dual wielding works to begin with. Because, like, what can you even do with the Needler in Halo 2? Like, what if the Needler can be dual wielded? How can you make the Needler not terrible, or like, how can you make it like so it's reasonable both dual wielding and just straight up? You know what I mean? If you get what I'm saying, like, if the Needler wasn't as, like, I mean, even dual wielding Needler is not insane in multiplayer, because Needler still kind of just blows.
5 minutes remaining.
Ah, fuck. I mean, I'm doing alright. You get used to it once you play for around for a while. But, like, the Needler in Halo 2 is, like, really weird. I mean, should I mention this now? Jeez, but I've been working on, like, a Halo 2 mod for, like, a very long time. I think I've actually talked about this a lot, so, like, I don't know, but I actually did, one of the big things I ended up having to, like, really try to get working was exactly that, is how can I make the Needler not suck when you're, like, not dual wielding it, but also not be absolutely bonkers insane when you are dual wielding it. And I think I basically turned it into a case where I just made it. I kind of turned it into what I've always thought the Needler should be, which is that the projectile speed kind of is like, it's like almost like a torpedo, where it's like moves slow for a second and then it like starts zooming. And the idea is that the Needler is a weapon that you're not really supposed to dodge it, because I like up the tracking. Well, I up the tracking a little bit, and the leading on it a bit, but you're not really dodging it because it moves too fast. But you have like a grace period, and then the idea is that Needler is a weapon you dodge, quote unquote, by just finding cover. You have to find something to block it. So like the biggest weakness of the Needler is cover heavy maps, and its biggest strength is like an open field. You know, you're just dead. And basically, by doing it like that, Needler... Oh, shit, what am I doing? Needler isn't particularly insane regardless of whether you're single-wielding it or dual-wielding, because the only thing dual-wielding it does is it just speeds up the kill a little. But ultimately, it still suffers from the same reasons. Now, am I saying that's the way they should do it? I mean, I don't know. I'm an amateur. I'm at most an amateur game dev. So, like, take everything I say with a grain of salt. That's the simple reality of it. I think that's what the Needlers should be, because I think that the way it is in Halo 3 Onward is really boring. Because it is, for all intents and purposes, just a regular power weapon. You just shoot them. The needles are super fast and, like, undodgeable. And, like, it just, like, kills you instantly. There's not even, like, a second where, like, oh, the needlers have impaled you, you're gonna die, but you can, you know, shoot the guy for a second. Like, no, you're just dead instantly. Like, there's no time to watch your enemy panic, which I think was a huge thing with the Needler in Halo 1. That's what makes it so satisfying in Halo 1, is you stick, you know, 7 needles into an elite run, and they actually freak out for a second and run around, and then die. That doesn't happen in Halo 2 Onward, even. I think Needler's alright in Halo Reach. It's a little polarizing in Reach, because it's, like, really strong against brutes in particular, but, like, that's not that big a deal, honestly. Yeah, we'll play some coagulation. I think the Needler is alright in Reach. I think the Halo 3 Needler is kind of boring, because the Halo 3 Needler is kind of the same thing, but there's, like, it's just a little more involved, I guess. Is it like a way of putting it? I don't know if that is the best way to put it, but you know what I mean. Like, it's basically the same thing, but you actually kind of have to, like, work around it, because it's like the tracking is, like, super strong in Reach, but it's like, I've mentioned this before, I think, maybe not, but I've talked about this in, like, Reddit and places where people ask about this, where the Needler the way the Needler tracking works is that it's actually, like, better when you give it more time to actually track. So despite the fact that it's a projectile weapon that, you know, moves at limited speed, you want to fire it from as far away as possible, because the longer the tracking has to, you know, actually track, the better it is at actually tracking, if that makes sense. Because at close range, it'll just kind of miss, because it can't compensate for how fast people move. But at, like, longer ranges, it can track really well. I don't know, I think it works better in Reach. Even though it's probably not really much. I think part of it is because shields actually block it in Reach, which is decidedly different. And the Needlers are actually, like, really good shield stripping weapons in Reach, which, you know, it may or may not be your cup of tea, because I'd almost argue that's kind of a weird thing. That's one of my biggest pet peeves with Reach. I'm dead. I'm so dead. Yeah. One of my biggest pet peeves with Reach is that every Covenant weapon is just a shield stripper in Reach. Like, the Spiker is a shield stripper in Reach, despite the fact that, you know, it barely makes any sense. Like, you know what I mean? Oh, I got him! Let's go! How many people have ever gotten a kill with a Shade Turret in Halo 2? And that dude likes to get out as soon as, oh, well. That dude likes to get out as soon as he's in, like, any danger. It's kind of funny. Oops. Sorry about that, letting the dog out. Well, I'm gonna get into the Goshawk if someone wants to. Oh, why not? I'm a driver now. I've never been great at driving, but we'll see what I can do. Driving is not easy, because, like, you know, you want to get your guy to get kills, but you also, you know, you don't want to die, like I've failed at doing. Not really much I could do about it, though, because the rockets in Halo 2 are nuts. Nice try, buddy. Aw, man! Well, I got 2 shots off. I'm the best. Did I get sniped, or was some dude just BRing me? I couldn't even tell. Oh, yeah, no, there's just a guy sniping. Okay. Well, good to know. You know what that means. Teleport, Mario! Man, how many people know that quote? You think this guy's paying attention? Oh, come on, dude. Why you gotta fucking... I get it, you vape. What? You're a god! Get out of here, fuckhead! Hell yeah! I come all the way over here and then he just gets goshogged. Figures. Well, at least I can pick up your ammo. Take that. This is Halo 2, so, fun fact, as long as I keep this sniper, they don't ever get their sniper back. Of course, it doesn't matter if they apparently stole our sniper. Because, Halo 2, it's kind of funny, Halo 2 and Reach have a lot in common, just as Halo 1 and Halo 3 actually have a lot in common. Even though Halo 3 is basically just Halo 2.5 in a lot of ways, a lot of the underlying systems actually are shared between those games. Where power weapons in Halo 1 and 3 work on it just like they keep respawning no matter what. In 2 and Reach, power weapons only actually respawn when the person holding them drops it. Like it has to despawn completely from the map first. So if you have an empty gun in 2 or Reach, as long as you don't drop it, that gun will never respawn. So if you pick up, rockets at the start of the game, you can just carry them even when empty, and then you don't have to worry about those weapons again as long as you don't die. Of course, the instant you die and the gun's empty, it immediately despawns. So it's not some like foolproof god tier plan, but it is something interesting to note because that has to be like multiplayer has to like be balanced around that. It's actually kind of like a tricky thing for like. I think it's kind of a tricky thing when they design those maps for competitive. That is a Spectre. Spectre is kind of a cool vehicle. It's kind of the shame that never really showed up again. I mean, the Prowler exists, but the Prowler is just like a crappy Spectre. Although the Prowler does have some cool things. Like, the Prowler is actually really good at killing people by splattering. Like, it's actually better than the Chopper in a lot of ways because it's really wide and it, like, specifically, like, does extra, like, splatter damage. Got him. Yeah, compared to the Shade Turret, the human turret is an absolute fucking monster. I don't know. Like, this is kind of a constant problem throughout this series, but, like, it's really pronounced in Halo 2. Where cutting weapons really suck, for the most part, against versus their human counterparts a lot of the time. Because, like, the Shade Turret bolt does less damage and also has massive, like, bullet travel time. I will be right back. Alright, I'm back. Because, like, yeah, like, the human turret versus the Covenant turret in this game is, like, such an obvious example of that. Like the Shade turret is very obviously designed for campaign. So, comparing it to, like, that particular turret doesn't even show up in campaign outside of the one part of Quarantine Zone, and it's, like, not a big deal there. Since you're generally gonna have, like, a tank or something, but, like, like, you get what I mean, right? The human turret is designed to kill. The Covenant turret is designed to shoot at you, if you get what I'm saying. It's not necessarily made to kill you, it's just made to be something that's, like, that shoots you with big, bright, pink bullet, you know what I mean? But, yeah, the Prowler, like, it's funny, I was just like, oh man, the Prowler kind of sucks compared to the Spectre, but, like, honestly, in some regards, I actually think the Prowler is cooler, because Not only can it like splatter really well, but the Prowler has like a cool little secret feature where if you drive off like a ledge or something, like if it's in the air, it actually has like landing gear that engage that make it like land better, so it gives it like a smooth landing, which is like kind of like a cool little niche thing that doesn't really pop up much. Let me think. What was I gonna talk about? There was like one other thing that like popped into my brain. I guess I could just talk about in general. Like, this is kind of a problem with every Halo game. This isn't just like a Bungie or like a 343 thing. They really like having counterparts. And I always thought that was a little strange that Halo 1 kind of avoided this for the most part. But then Halo 2 onward, they just like realized that like, well, if we have you playing as, you know, with Covenant weapons for 75% of the game, we can't just have a bunch of weird weapons, obviously, because that would be crazy, you know what I mean? But it's like, I don't know. Like what do you prefer, the carbine and the needle rifle? It's like, I think the carbine is like, it's a pretty iconic weapon, but like I think the needle rifle is cooler, just because it at least is kind of different. Although honestly, I prefer to not have counterparts at all for the most part, if you know we could deal with it. Like at the very least, they should be made more distinct in the way they get used, even if it's just like they do damage differently, or just like, I don't know, like in this game at least, the carbine is technically more of like a closer range weapon compared to the BR, because it's less accurate, but it kills a little faster at close quarters. So that is something. But I don't know, like, it is. I think this is worse during the 343 era, but it's not something that Bungie is exactly innocent of. I mean, fuck, you got, this game has the plasma rifle and the brute plasma rifle, and it's like, the brute plasma rifle is just the plasma rifle, but it shoots faster. So it's like there's literally no reason to use the regular plasma rifle, except that, you know, there just isn't always going to be a brute plasma rifle. But if there is a brute plasma rifle, you pick it up if you have plasma rifle. And I mean, even then, both those guns kind of suck in multiplayer a lot of the time. If you have like a good weapon to dual wield, it's not terrible, but like that's pretty niche. Wow, I just killed both of them. What the fuck happened? Sure, why not? I'm sure we'll get blasted by rockets in the first 2 bloody seconds, but because like the one thing that's like, the Scorpion is such a death machine, you know what I mean? Like, what are you supposed to do? If I as soon as I go over to that base, they're gonna shoot it and blast our ass. But like, jeez, Spectre's tankier than I thought. I mean, the Spectre is a kind of a good example, though, that like, at least it's distinct because it's, you know, it has a 360-degree movement. The turret's a little weaker than the human, but it's actually not that much weaker. Although, once again, it's so similar to the human tank in the way it shoots, the human Jeep in the way it shoots, that it's like, I wish it was a little different. I guess in that regard, the Prowler is probably more interesting in that regard, because it actually has bullet travel time at least. Although the Prowler is just, like, they gave it bullet travel time, but they didn't make it any stronger, so it's still just like, oh no, you know what I mean? I swear that dude had rockets. Hell yeah! Alright, now I can camp with rockets for a while. It's pretty cool. Halo 2 was like the last game to actually have ammo, seriously. But like, yeah, like you look at a lot of the weapons in later games, it feels like they got too hard on counterparts, if that makes sense. Like Carbine versus DMR, or like Carbine versus Needle Rifle, and then, you know, whatchamacallit, BR versus Carbine, and then Needle Rifle versus DMR. It feels like they both tend to be too similar to each other. Like hell, they've introduced the Needle Rifle, which is like a super precise precision weapon, like a precision utility weapon, as it were. In the same game, they introduced the DMR, which is the same thing for the humans. And it's like, dude, like you couldn't think of anything else. Like even though the Needler needle rifle shoots needles, it's like, practically speaking, what does that really matter? Because it's a projectile, or it's not a projectile. It's, I mean, technically it is. Technically, Halo has no hit scan, true hit scan, but for all intents and purposes, it basically is. If it hits virtually instantly, like at the most extreme like distances, there's like maybe like 1 frame of like delay between getting hit or not. Ah, fuck. This guy's on my ass. I kill him once and he's just gonna keep coming back for more. There we go. Dude, I just 4-shot that guy. Let's go. I was like, oh wait, the rocket. I like was thinking about the rocket, and then I went on a whole tangent about other stuff. Like the rocket in this game is nuts. Like, for at least for the purposes of anti-weapon, like look at that. Like there's like as soon as you lock on, the only way you'll ever miss is if you shoot him at like the most ridiculous angle, where you're shooting like a warthog straight on, while they're at full speed, it might miss. And even then, the tracking and speed are good enough that it might just circle around and hit them anyways. But, I mean, I'm really glad that in Halo 3 they split it off into basically... Whoopsies. They split it off into Spartan Laser and then Rocket Launcher, where the Spartan Laser is the dedicated anti-destroy this vehicle no matter what the fuck they're doing. And the Rocket's more of like a easier, more casual, like you can give them to this and like it's good against vehicles, but it isn't just like, it doesn't just auto win against all vehicles, you know what I mean? Because yeah, it has travel time and it doesn't lock on. And then Reach is kind of weird because it gave lock on back to the Rocket, but only on air vehicles for some reason, which I always thought was weird. I always thought that was like a very bizarre way to handle the Rocket in Reach. Especially because they gave... Like, Reach is such a fucking weird game under the hood. Like, they made it new. Like, it makes sense because I think it's like a new... It's like basically like a different team, basically. I'm pretty sure it kind of handled a lot of the stuff in Reach. It's like a bunch of newer Bungie members, basically. But, like... And, like, they also, like, revamped so much stuff. Like, Reach is not Halo 3.5, you know what I mean? Like, Halo Reach is so different under the hood from, like, older Halo games. Even though in a lot of ways it's still similar. But, like, they added so much new systems. So many new systems. But there's so many weird glitches because of that. Because they tried to do so much that they couldn't really QA everything, you know what I mean? Like, just the way the AI is in Reach is so weird. I've mentioned this before. Like, it's so many little things. Like I was talking about with the rockets. Because the rockets in Reach lock on to air vehicles, when the AI have a rocket launcher, not only can they lock on to any vehicle, not just air vehicles, they can lock on to infantry in Reach. Like, any biped, anything that they consider a target, AI can lock onto in Reach with rocket launchers. Which is like such a weird... I don't even know what you'd call it. Like, it's just something that's really weird. And that's how it is.
15 minutes remaining.
I think that was like a reverse example of that too. Yeah, the plasma launcher. So the plasma launcher has like kind of a delayed lock-on. But the way it works is a little different than the rocket. It's a different type of delayed lock-on, right? So because of that, because it's different enough that the AI can't actually use it. So it essentially creates a reverse scenario where you can lock onto anything, but the AI can't. So it's like that. It's that kind of weird thing. You know what I mean? Reach is such a weird game. I respect it for what it is the thing, and I think it's still a good Halo game. It's just, it's so weird. Like, there's so many weird. There's even just weird things like the fact that armor abilities are cool. Like, people complained about armor abilities so much in Reach, especially stuff like Armor Lock and Sprint are like the two big ones. Because I guess Armor Lock and Jetpack are technically the two big ones, but Sprint, as of late, has also become a big one. But like, ultimately, the problem with armor abilities was never, like, I personally don't think the problem was ever that armor abilities themselves were too polarizing. I think the problem is that Bungie, like, throughout the entirety of Reach's history, they just refuse to have armor abilities be things you pick up off the map. Even though it's like perfectly supported, and like MLG did it for like a handful of its maps, but they just really didn't like having armor abilities be like map pickups. Every game mode, it was just you spawn with all the armor abilities. So you just spawn with, you know, you choose to spawn with either sprint or whatnot. And it's like, I don't know why it's like that. It's such a weird thing because, like, imagine having to, like, I see everyone spawning with sprint. But, like, imagine having to pick armor lock off the map. Like, let me tell you, if you had to pick armor lock off the map instead of just spawning with it, I guarantee there would be like 10 times less complaint. It would be like 10% of the complaints. It would be like armor lock is too polarizing in like big team, basically. That would be the only reason people would complain. Like, they had to nerf armor lock, and it's like, I guarantee they would have never had to nerf it if it was just a proper map pickup, which I don't understand, because that was actually like a big philosophy of Bungie, especially in the Reach days, or like in the older days, where like everything was always tied to things you can do off the map, because that way it's easy to tailor make, or like, I guess to, what's the right way to say it? It's easy to control what the player can and can't do, basically, because like if armor lock is a map pickup, then if you don't want people to use armor lock, you just don't put it on the map, you know. Whereas like in Halo 5 you have all these Spartan abilities, and like there isn't, you can't just not have Spartan abilities other than just like have it arbitrarily be something you can disable in custom games. It's still possible, but because it's obviously it's so much different, like, you know what I mean? It's not the same thing, because it's not map design, it's like just arbitrary custom game settings, if you get what I'm saying. Like, it's just a completely different thing. Especially in the context of like campaign, where you're never going to arbitrarily disable an armor ability like that, because that doesn't make any sense. And it would be like some weird convoluted setup. I guess you could, but like it would never really happen. Oh damn, I got fucked. Like, you get what I'm saying, right? And yet, for some reason, I don't understand. They just refuse. They never decided to just put armor abilities on the map. You know, like armor lock is obnoxious, and then jetpack ruins basically any map that has vertical movement. Right? Because every map that has any sort of vertical movement, jetpack just completely ruins it. I mean, jetpack is even annoying even without vertical movement, because a lot of people don't even think about this, but like if somebody's jetpacking above you, you can't really headshot them because you're shooting at their fucking feet. But they can shoot you in the head just fine because they're above you. Not to mention, it's annoying to shoot people that are above you, and then someone can just be at level, and it's like, you're not gonna be able to, like, you know what I mean? Like, it's just one of those things. It's like, it's such a little thing, but it makes jetpack even more annoying, if that makes sense. Oh, I borked that fight a little bit, but it ended up working out. Suck my nuts, Spectre Man, with his Spectre plan. The tank is such a death machine in Halo 2. Like, they actually nerfed it in campaign, or in multiplayer, I've mentioned this, but they only nerfed the main cannon to just shoot slower. It shoots like every, like, I think 4 seconds or something like that. But the machine gun is still super strong, and, like, the machine gun is insane in Halo 2. And it's not nerfed at all in campaign, so, like, that part barely even matters. People sleep on the Halo 2 shotgun, you know, but like people say it's because the Halo 1 shotgun is like absolutely insane in the context of most scenarios. Like, it's Halo 1 shotgun in multiplayer is really strong, and then the Halo 1 shotgun in campaign is like maybe the single most broken weapon in the entire series. The Halo 1 shotgun is absolutely insane in campaign. It like one-shots everything, like very reasonably too. Like you don't have to even be point blank a lot of the time to just flat. Oh shit! I got fucked. Like fucking like the strongest thing you'll ever see shooting a shotgun at in Halo 1 is like a zealot, and even on legendary they'll die in like at point blank you'll take out their shields for sure, because it just does so much goddamn damage, and it has good range, reloads like super quick, and it has 12 shots in the magazine. And since you can shoot while you're reloading, it's like you basically can just keep shooting. Like it's just an absolutely insane gun, and 60 shots in reserve. Like they nerfed it a lot in 2, where like you actually have to be, you know, like people complain about this all the time, but the simple reality is that the reason why shotguns are like this in most games is because having a fairly realistic shotgun is just kind of like bonkers. Shotguns are just good at killing shit, you know what I mean? You know, big surprise, a gun that shoots like, you know, a dozen or so pellets in 1 second is really good at just killing stuff. Like, you know, in real life, shotguns are made for like hunting ducks and whatnot, like hunting things that are fairly far away, actually, and like moving quick. So ironically, in that sense, I guess shotguns are kind of the opposite in games that they are in real life, typically. But like, there's a reason for that. Which is like just the simplest answer. Because look at Halo 1, where you have a shotgun that actually works like you would expect it to, and it's just beyond bonkers. It's the most overpowered shotgun in basically any game ever. Like, Doom has a shotgun, but like, I think the difference is that in Doom, the shotgun works like a real shotgun because, well, Doom doesn't really have like a regular rifle, you know what I mean? Like, the shotgun is the rifle, essentially. That is the purpose that the Doom shotgun serves. It's just your standard go-to utility gun that you use when you're not in like a specific scenario, you know what I mean? Like, the chain gun's good at killing a bunch of weaker enemies, and it's good at like stun locking certain tougher ones, but it's not the best at just like mowing down tons of enemies, you know what I mean? And stuff like that, you know what I mean? But then the Halo 1 shotgun is not supposed to be the utility weapon, right? It's supposed to be it's supposed to be like a power weapon that you shoot at dudes with. It's supposed to be good at killing dudes. I mean, big surprise, it's a gun, but it's just, it does its job so well that there's really, like, you get the shotgun in 343 Guilty Spark, and there is basically no reason to ever drop that shotgun again. As soon as you pick up a shotgun at any level, you will never drop it, because it's just too good. There's no reason to drop it. There's plenty of ammo, it's like, it has good range, so like, who cares? Like, you can basically just rock a shotgun and whatever other weapon you want. Like, the plasma pistol is very strong in Halo 1, because everything carries it, and it's like, you know, and it just has a bunch of great traits, but it's like, it's still not, you know, you still can't kill everything with it. Oh fuck, I'm dead. It still has limitations, whereas the Halo 1 shotgun is just, like, it's just insane. Multiplayer is actually not super insane, because it actually doesn't, like, it does, I think, I forget if it does reduced damage to player shields or if it just does more damage to your health. But either way, player Spartans are just specifically in such a way that they're not super insane. Oh, jeez. Such a dual wield thing, huh? How about that? It's still very strong in multiplayer, but it's like, it's not the death machine it is in the campaign. And then Halo 2 actually, I think, kind of balances them out better, where they're kind of just good in both. People say the Halo 2 shotgun sucks, and it, like my big tangent says, it's really just because the Halo 1 shotgun is just far and away like maybe the most powerful shotgun in any game ever. So it kind of makes sense to say the Halo 2 shotgun sucks when, you know, it's the sequel to Halo 1, you know what I mean? But it's still a good gun. It kills in close quarters consistently. And it kind of just, it still has like good one-shot potential against most things. Really, it's the Halo 3 shotgun that feels terrible, because it's basically just the Halo 2 shotgun, but even worse. Because like they nerfed its magazine size even more, they nerfed its total ammo even more, they nerfed its range even more, they nerfed its damage even more. It's just a worse gun in general in Halo 3. Halo 3 is at the point where it's finally too, like, it's just a little too weak to be. I wouldn't call it a power weapon anymore. You know what I mean? Jesus Christ, what is this video? You know, I'm gonna call it quits for now. We're gonna end things off. Let me check here since I'm here. So minor looks like 25%. Moderate does look like 50%, and then severe looks like 75%. So I'm probably right about that. So yeah, we're gonna call that quits. This is almost, I mean, that's the kind of what I like doing with these things. It's just an excuse for me to just ramble about random things. But yeah, anyways, that'll be it for this part. I mean, technically I have Halo 1 multiplayer. I've done it with like a couple friends, but maybe I'll do just random Halo 1 multiplayer later. I don't know. We'll see. Anyways, yeah. See you guys later.